me. So today, as you can tell from the title, I'm coming at you with another vlogtorial, and today we're going to be making some plains style moccasins. Now, if you've been a viewer of the channel, you may have seen my moccasins here. These are plains style, but they're done in a more contemporary way, where they are not beaded onto leather. The only leather part of these are the litigo bottoms. But I will link some of that sole leather in the description if you're interested in using litigo bottoms. But today we're going to be making some fully leather moccasins, some tradish mocs. If you don't know, I promised my parents each a pair of moccasins for Christmas. It is now May, but here I am, I'm getting them done. And my mother was specific that she wanted plain style moccasins, so that's what we're making today. But like I said, this is going to be a vlogtorial. I'm not going to be giving you step-by-step, intricate, detailed instructions. I'm just going to be showing you my process and what I did. But I do want to say that the beginning of this video, where I am mapping out the pattern pieces onto paper, I'm actually following instructions by a creator called Sheena Brings Plenty. I will of course link Sheena's video in the description. Go watch it, go like, subscribe, all that, show your support. Their instructions in their video were exquisite, and I couldn't have said them any better myself. In any video just like this one where I am making something, I will of course provide a list of products that I use in the description, as well as links to some of them. Nonetheless, I'm making a pair of plains mocs today, and I'm going to show you my process. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I did, which I didn't catch on camera, was trace around the sole of my mom's foot onto some paper, and then I cut that out about a 1/4 inch outside that tracing line for seam allowance. What I'm doing here is making a pattern piece for the top of the moccasin. Right now I'm tracing the sole pattern piece onto the paper, and then I'm following the steps that Sheena provided, of course making plenty of mistakes along the way, which makes me feel so validated that I choose to make the pattern pieces with paper and pencil instead of drawing straight onto the leather, despite feeling bad for wasting paper. Since the sole pattern piece, which I had traced, was cut out with seam allowance, I'm cutting directly onto the lines I drew rather than cutting outside of them. And of course, I'm already having to correct mistakes. Next is the leather. So I'm working with the suede side up, and I'm looking for the most efficient way to cut out my leather, so I'm just placing my pattern pieces in different spots to see how they fit on the piece I have. Then I trace the pattern pieces with a pen on the side of the leather that will be inside of the moccasin, along with any important markings such as right or left side, center marks, and the line that I will eventually cut for the ankle. Then I cut out the pieces. Okay, so I have all of the pieces cut out for my mom's moccasins. Normally, I would say now is the time that you would bead them. Actually, I would say bead the tops before you cut them out, because you can get a quilter's loom. Let me go get it real quick. You can get a quilter's loom and put your whole leather in there, and then it's, you know, kind of like those round embroidery looms that you might use to make earrings and medallions and stuff, but big for your moccasins. I decided I am going to bead like a border around the edge of the moccasins. And like I said, normally I would say do it now, but what I'm going to do instead is go ahead and put the moccasins together, and then I'm going to lazy stitch. Since I'm only doing a border, that's totally possible. If I was doing a design, then I would say, or if I was doing a design, then I would bead it now. But because I'm just doing a border, I'm going to lazy stitch it. And I'm also choosing to bead it afterwards so that I know exactly where the edge is. So yeah,
and get going on that.
And now we're in bed with a heating pad because I'm having back issues. I just bought a new spool of sinew from Bead and Power Supply. I'll link it below. And I cut out a long piece and then split off a small section for sewing. And typically, one cut of sinew can produce about 4 sections that are suitable for sewing. I am also using size 10 Glover's needles that I also got from Bead and Powell Supply, also linked below. By the way, these needles were an investment purchase, meaning this is my first time using Glover's on leather instead of regular sewing needles, and let me tell you, this purchase was worth it. Now, making sure I'm working with both the left foot pieces, I'm placing them right sides together. I forgot to record footage of me cutting lacing out of the leather, which will be sandwiched between the 2 pattern pieces. Right now I'm lining up these center marks and then finding the middle of my lacing, which will also be lined up with those middle marks. Next, I'm sewing through all 3 layers, the sole piece, the top piece, and the lacing that is sandwiched between the 2. I'm just doing a basic running stitch. I don't think back stitching is necessary with leather and sinew. As you can see, I've busted out my thimble and pliers to make this process easier and quicker. Once you get to the curves of the big toe and the pinky toe, you may need to pucker the moccasin a bit in order to contour the leather around the toes. Here I'm lining up these center marks on the sides to see how much excess leather one piece has. Every time I made a pucker, I lined up the markings again. So I just hit a point in these moccasins that validates my belief that I am right to not make an actual tutorial and teach you how to make moccasins, because I don't know what I did here. So as you can see, I've already made one. I made one moccasin and then recording footage on the other one. And this one went all fine, you know, everything met up in the back, it's all good and dandy. And now when I get to the back of this one, do you see that? So basically what I'm trying to show you is that when it met up in the back, this back seam right here, these edges met up perfectly. And I was like, good, I'm doing great on these moccasins. And now, look how crooked that is. So I don't know what I did wrong here, because I had marked the center on the top and the bottom. And then I had marks right here. This is where the arch, or the top of the foot is. I don't know what to call it, the arch or whatever. So I did everything the same, I feel like anyway, that I did here, but it's showing up like this. And my Glover needle's about to fall out. That's not good. Don't want this in my bed. But I was looking at this before recording, and here I have this line in here. This is the line that you cut open so that you can form the ankle hole. And when I was looking inside of this moccasin, it looks like it's still going to be like in the middle mostly. It might be a little over, but still mostly in the middle. So I think what I'm just going to do is I am going to cut this extra off. And then the next step, even if I didn't have to do this, is to actually cut down that line. you cut down the line and then you cut the across marking so that you cut a open hole right here, and then cutting across opens it up. And then once I open it up, I will lay these two sides next to each other and see how high they are. And yeah, next step after that is to sew the back seam. But hey, everybody needs something on their feet.
Cold pizza Tuesday. I got food up in the fridge. Y'all keep looking for that new wave. I think I like it how it is.
So here I'm just marking where the back seam is going to go, just to help guide me with my sewing.
I got food up in the fridge. Y'all keep looking for a new wave. I think I like it how it is.
My shoestrings untied, I'm running full speed, with scissors in hand. I love pointy things, let's fall on the floor next to all of our needs. Let's lose inhibition, let's fly like our dreams is reality. And real things ain't quite what they seem. Once you hold it, does it gleam? If it's green, is there a soul? Is a soul a real thing? If you're really in the know, is it all a scripted show with the cameras and lights and the laugh track to kill all of my loneliness inside and a casting? Next is finishing off the top of the ankle hole and adding the lacing by folding over the edging of the ankle hole and stitching. Cut a piece of lacing in half and then place each half on either side with about an inch or 3/4 of an inch in the edge of the ankle hole. And then just do a running stitch all around the ankle hole, of course driving the needle through all 3 layers when you're at the lacing. And then the last part for the construction is to add a tongue. So here I just have one little piece of leather and I'm going to attach it right at the top of the moccasin and do a running stitch. And then it should look just like this when I'm finished. This next part is optional, but it can look a little cleaner if you trim the edge of that lacing that you put in between layers when you're stitching the moccasin together. So go ahead and just run your scissors along the edge there and clip off the excess. Okay, so I have both of them completely constructed, and I could be done by now, but I want to bead them a little bit. I think I'm going to go around just the front and maybe down the middle. I haven't decided yet, but right now I'm going to go choose colors. Open up my handy dandy, whoops, wrong thing, thing that has all my beads in it. These are all my open beads, and then here are just the hanks that I haven't cut into yet. So I think I want to use a white color and maybe a blue. She really likes the color blue. So here's some white. And I got a couple different blues. We got this dark blue. We've got a transparent blue. We have a luster blue. I don't think I want to use luster in moccasins though, because it'll just, the luster will wear off and it'll turn a pale opaque. Or white, depending on how the beads were painted. I thought I had a lighter blue in here. I must not have. I mean, there's this slate blue. I think I'm going to use this slate blue, dig into it. White beads. I believe these are like an AB. I can't tell. I had some AB white beads that were almost like hollow, but you had to really look closely to see the hollow in them. But, there's that. Maybe I should choose one more color. What about this Cheyenne pink?
might look really nice. I'm going to have this bright red. I think I'm going to go with the cyan pink. I don't know what kind of design I'm going to do. Probably something geometric just around the edge. And yeah, let's go get beading. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this vlogtorial. I hope it was helpful or entertaining or both or just whatever you want it to be, and I'll see you on the next one. Bama Pig Woman.